This is a bookable summary of the book How to Do the Work by Nicole LePera. Nicole LePera's body was sending her serious warning signs. In addition to chronic gut problems, she had constant headaches and even fainted without apparent cause. Her brain was fogged and she was anxious all the time. She took antidepressants and popped paracetamol, but treating these conditions with medication and traditional therapy just wasn't working. LePera embarked on a journey to heal herself. This involved completely expanding her practice as a psychologist, incorporating physical and spiritual elements, and becoming truly holistic in her approach to health. Is it of importance to you to learn how to heal from burnout, trauma, and dissociation as well? If this is what you're looking for, then you are in the right place. Number 1. Dr. Nicole LePera hit rock bottom and realised something had to change. We often hear of spiritual awakenings happening on mountaintops, or in ashrams, temples, mosques and churches. She started crying over a bowl of oatmeal and just couldn't stop. LePera had a successful life on the outside, but felt awful on the inside. She realised that something in her life just wasn't working. LePera had spent years trying to heal herself and others as a clinical psychologist, but she realised she needed to take a more holistic approach. The author started working out every day, eating well and embracing breathwork and meditation. She also started dealing with her childhood trauma and started documenting her journey via Instagram as a holistic psychologist. Number 2. To heal our minds, we have to heal our bodies and vice versa. The placebo effect is a common experience that people have when taking drugs. The mind-body paradigm, which holds that our minds are completely independent from our bodies, is outdated. Research has shown that our gut health has a striking influence on our mental well-being, and that even severe conditions that we believe are determined by our genes can be influenced by our environments. Holistic psychology asks how people can practice self-healing within their own lived experiences and unique situations, and doesn't deny the reality that some trauma comes from systemic oppression. Jessica was about to marry her longtime boyfriend, but she lived on a roller coaster, blindingly believing whatever her thoughts were telling her. Like Jessica, we all have thousands of thoughts racing around in our heads every day. These thoughts are not always true. Most of us spend our days on autopilot without really stopping to examine what we're doing and thinking and why. But living on autopilot isn't truly comfortable either. So how do we really wake up? Jessica started a yoga practice to examine her own thought patterns, which helped her to become less reactive. Cultivating awareness can start small, by paying attention to your senses as you walk along the sidewalk or taking the trees, cracked sidewalk and people you encounter. Number 3. We need to identify childhood trauma in order to heal. The author was disassociated for most of her childhood and young adulthood because she felt overwhelmed and powerless. She couldn't express her feelings and didn't really feel seen, so she went underground in a dissociated spaceship of her own making. Childhood traumas can have serious consequences for our emotional well-being later in life. Children who are ignored by their parents often end up dissociating or acting out to try to get attention. Childhood trauma can be caused by parents who have no sense of boundaries, invade their children's privacy, and share inappropriate information with them. This causes children to become alienated from their own intuition and authentic selves. When we perceive a threat to our survival, our brain's fear center lights up and instructs our autonomic nervous system to switch to survival mode. People who have experienced trauma sometimes perceive threats everywhere, even when they're not in real danger. When you're chronically stressed, your brain floods your body with the hormone cortisol. As a result, the people around you might seem more threatening, and you may find it harder to connect and form relationships. You also stop being able to think clearly. Our survival systems are involuntary. We can't consciously turn them off, but we can take steps to calm our bodies down. For example, we can control our breathing. Taking deep belly breaths when we're stressed has an instant calming effect on our bodies. Exercise releases feel-good hormones into the bloodstream, which is why people who exercise are less likely to develop heart disease or dementia. We know by now that our mental health is intimately related to our gut. Eating nutritious whole foods and fermented foods will support our gut health. Number 4. Reparenting can reprogram our core beliefs. Have you ever thought to yourself, I don't matter, or nobody cares about me? These are examples of core beliefs formed in childhood that come to define how we see ourselves and our lives. Our brains are powerful engines, filtering information and stimuli from the outside world. When we have a negative core belief, our brains select evidence that supports it. This is known as confirmation bias. If we believe we're worthless, then we'll fixate on criticism and ignore praise, or dismiss a job promotion as a fluke, instead of something we earned. We'll bring that insecurity into our relationships and start testing our lovers. Negative core beliefs can affect every area of our lives. The key message is this: reparenting can reprogram our core beliefs. If we are aware of our negative core beliefs and do the work to heal, then we can start to shift the ways we think and filter the world. One of the best ways to alter our beliefs about ourselves is to go right back to the source. Usually, these beliefs form when we're very young. In order to heal them, you need to engage with your inner child. What were you like when you were young? Our inner children often carry deep wounds from the parent-child relationship. Attachment theory indicates that when children feel secure in the bond with their parents, they're able to develop emotional resilience, as well as the confidence to explore independently from parents. But when parents are unavailable or inconsistent in their affection, children start feeling desperate and clingy. Or, alternatively, they shut down and stop seeking connection altogether. It's at this vulnerable stage that we start forming key beliefs about ourselves. Some children may become caretakers, believing they have to earn affection by being useful to others. Or they may become overachievers, believing that their value is dependent on their accomplishments. One of the most powerful ways to heal these wounds is to start reparenting yourself. When you're reparenting, you apply loving discipline by making small promises to yourself and keeping them. You also prioritize self-care and emotional regulation. Number 5. Self-healing allows you to surround yourself with a loving, supportive community. Susan felt like a doormat, and her friends and family barged into her home whenever they felt like it. She traced the dynamic to her childhood with an emotionally controlling mother. Many of us have grown up in families where togetherness is seen as the ultimate form of love. But healthy relationships require good boundaries. There are 3 kinds of boundaries we need to cultivate: physical boundaries, resource boundaries, and mental and emotional boundaries. Asserting your personal boundaries means being able to make space for your own feelings, opinions, and beliefs. Creating and maintaining boundaries can be hard work. Make sure you prepare in advance and regulate your emotions beforehand and assert the boundary in an emotionally neutral moment. Self-healing allows you to surround yourself with a loving, supportive community. When you change the status quo in your relationships, you risk being ostracized by family and friends. When we're suffering from trauma, our survival systems keep us on high alert. The relationships we do have will often mirror our internal state of emotional dysregulation, and forming trauma bonds with others who have suffered similar wounds isn't truly fulfilling or affirming. Dr. LePera cut off contact with her birth family to heal her childhood traumas and find her authentic voice. She later re-established a healthy relationship with them and strengthened her relationship with her partner and friends. What's your most important key takeaway? Please comment down below and share the video if you like it. Check out these other 2 videos. Thank you, and until next time.